I'll give it a few more minutes.
Hey, it's Kory. You're back?
It's really me. It's really
you
me.
were around for so long. We were chatting, and then you were gone, and then you came back briefly, and then you were gone. And I'm like, he's got some deep DD he's uncovering.
Yeah, there's been quite a lot of time reflecting and resting and working on some things. I've released that I'm doing the docuseries, and I'm not going to speak too much on that tonight. But
see you back and around. Are you teaching? Or
no, I'm not teaching. I'm actually I still work at a college.
Okay.
And I wear a lot of hats. I wear a lot of hats there.
I am sure.
I love my job. I definitely love my job.
Yeah. Well, I'm in that industry too. So yeah, it's rough. These kids going through a lot. I'm much younger, but anyway, all right. Well, you can throw me down. I'm just gonna listen for a minute, but I'm pretty tired. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good. Apparently, all my Christmas gifts that I ordered are suddenly. I just got bombarded with like 20 notifications that things shipped. I'm like, oh, good. Sorry.
Even though your kids are older, they'll still go hunting. At least mine do.
Oh, that's why I hide it in the office. I have it shipped to my office.
Like chug it up to the attic. It's like, really?
That's what I'm thankful that one of the administrative assistants walked in the other day, and she was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "There was a blanket thrown over stuff," and I was like, "That's Christmas presents. I gotta hide them here because I have nowhere at home to hide them."
Yep.
So, well, I've got quite a bit. I mean, I've taught this about bots and trolls. Most of you guys have been in here and heard me speak on this many times before. So for new people, just to make it easy, bots are computer automated. That means there is not a human behind it. People call accounts shills, and they use that universally. It's always been a point of contention. I hate that word. I hate the word. It's used incorrectly 90% of the time by people. So it's yeah, like Straight Jacket can tell you. Most people in here will attest that I will jump on somebody quickly when they say shill wrong in the wrong manner. But most people know what a bot is. You know what a troll is. Lord knows I do. But troll is oftentimes misused, almost like shill is misused. A troll is an actual person, and the actual technical term for it is a sock puppet for new people. And yes, as weird as it sounds, that is the actual technical definition for it. It gets that term because there's someone behind it, just like actually, putting a sock on your hand as a sock puppet. Somebody behind it operating it for nefarious or devious reasons. There are a number of different things that they are used for. Social engineering is another term for manipulating social media. It's neither inherently good or bad. It's depending on how it's used. Unfortunately, in today's society, it is used far more for the bad reasons than it is for good. There is something new, and before I left Twitter back in the fall, I was tracking these, and I called them hybrid accounts. It was a mix of both bot and sock puppet. So what does that mean? They're actually called zombie accounts. That's the technical term for it, or a cyborg account. Cyborg account tends to be the more common definition or word used to define them. It's typically where it is an account that is a bot operated by a computer. But because more and more people today are becoming aware of what a bot looks like, so to speak, for lack of better terms of describing it, how to identify the bots, they now have humans that will log into it then and operate it like a sock puppet to give it a more human appearance. The scary thing is most people know what a bot farm is or a botnet. They're universally the same thing. The scary thing is a person can operate truly an unlimited amount of sock puppet accounts or bots. I mean, I released all of my DD is still on my profile. I've released countless, I think in my thread earlier today when I posted this space call, it contained information about you can buy Twitter accounts and Instagram accounts and Facebook accounts that are pre-built. And the scary thing is that they use AI generators to generate photos that appear to be human. They look just like people. And then they have narratives that are built to them. They've got thousands of followers or only a couple hundred followers. I mean, it's almost like a la carte menu of what kind of profiles do you want, down to, all right, I want a political profile that leans to the left or leans to the right. It is out there, unfortunately. One of the more disheartening things that I've seen in the news is that Elon, in his infinite fucking wisdom, decided to get rid of Twitter labels. So for those of you that don't know, Twitter labels, if you look at the bottom of a tweet where it says, trying to think of how they word it. Did they get rid of it yet? No. So Twitter for Android, Twitter for iPhone, Twitter on the web. That's called a Twitter label. Elon did not find very much use or purpose to that. And the sad fact is that was actually a really good way to identify bots very quickly, because they are also were assigned advertising labels many times. I think everybody is in here is doing something in the stock market at some point in time. So you've seen the bots pumping and bashing specific tickers, and they'll flood news feeds with them. That was a really good way to identify those bots. And they begin to, what's the word I'm looking for? I apologize, guys. I'm a lot tired today. They completely lost my train of thought. The bots have begun to evolve, so to speak. I was talking to Thomas James earlier. He sent me a message. He's in the United Kingdom, in the UK, and does AMC YouTube channel, and really good guy. And he's noticed it too. The bots are evolving now to the point where they will now follow profiles, which that's happened before, but they're following people onto Discord, and they will join Discord, and then they will send out spam messages to the members in the Discord with links that can steal private information, that can steal sensitive information, yada yada. I mean, most people know those, but they're getting really good at hiding those kind of links. So the scam bots have begun to evolve. I was doing some research on something that's developing with those. I'm going to wait to talk more about that aspect of it until I've read a little bit more on it. I'm greatly anticipating NATO's annual evaluation of social media manipulation and safety. NATO puts out a report every year. They did not give Twitter or many other social platforms very good reviews in regards to safety. Excuse me. Let me stop here. Does anybody have any questions so far about bots, zombies, or cyborg accounts or sock puppet accounts? I mean, in essence, the concept of those are the same. They just evolve more and more. If you do, just request to speak. Hi, Bonnie. Is this Bonnie? Nope, appears to be a fake account, so that got blocked. My tolerance of bullshit is not.
Hey.
And removed. All right. So, anybody else have any questions so far?
What the hell was that?
Oh, it's another one of the sock puppets that I'm sure is out there lurking as usual. Smile for the camera. So, no questions. All right, where are we going? I've been following Elon's purchase of Twitter for quite some time and had high hopes for quite a long time that he would fix things, and that those hopes are gone. I have zero faith in that. But that's a topic for another day. One thing that I am excited to see happening that doesn't get talked a lot about is that there is software that is being developed, programming that's being developed by a professor at Southern Illinois University in Carbondale that aims to prevent fraud that's caused by sock puppets. It is in active development and is being tested on a few different platforms. Sadly, not Twitter. Wouldn't that be nice? So there should be a report coming out on that here soon too. Let's jump into the more controversial issues today. So bogus Twitter accounts or sock puppets or bots or trolls, zombies, cyborgs, whatever. What are they used for? Well, they're used for a number of different things. Anywhere from cyberbullying by a single individual to propaganda groups, also known as information operative groups, or public opinion groups, which came more into the public light when Obama was in office. And I don't do politics, so we're just not even going to go to the politics side of things. Those are legal now, in some ways, not in all. Sorry, guys, I've got a dog that's losing her mind. Come here. Come on. By the way, yes, the snow patrol is still here, driving me crazy. Aphrodite, come here. Come here. You're making it really hard for Dad to read. So, before we dive into the actual definitions of those groups, we're going to talk about the things that they do. Those, whether it's singular for an individual purpose or for a group, they're used to amplify hate, amplify attacks. Bots often follow trolls or sock puppets, zombies, what have you. And retweeting. Back in the day, I haven't seen them in a while, but the whole retweet everybody to 1,000 followers was one of the big ways that they spread. Now they're more space calls. Everybody in this space call to 1,000 followers, which is funny still. People think it's crazy, but they do create memes purposely to retweet so they get followed. That's some accounts, that's their sole purpose. There's also the reply guys. They're fake accounts that will reply so that others then can reply and jump into the conversation, especially people who are blocked. It gives them an entry point into a tweet thread. Aphrodite, come on. And you guys have to bear with me as I'm standing outside with this dog. I've got my notes on the counter in the kitchen. Come on, girl. Come on. All right. So, go back to where I was at. Tactics. Let's talk tactics.
Hey, Kory, 1 second. Can you bring up Straight Jacket?
Oh, see, I thought he was still up here as speaker.
Yeah, he's a listener now.
Oh, yeah, hold on. Where is he at?
Okay.
I'm going to speak for real. It's been a while since I've hosted a space.
And you can take me down, Kory.
Oh, you guys can stay as speakers. As long as somebody doesn't come up here acting a damn fool, that doesn't bother me. But I will, believe me, my trigger finger on the block button didn't go away. It is still quite good at block. And again, you guys, I am not watching DMs. I can't juggle all of that, especially with I'm not doing co-hosts today. So let's talk about the darker side of social media and the more manipulation side before we get to the cyberbullying side, which they kind of go hand in hand in some ways. So the manipulation side of things, when it comes to information operatives or public opinion operatives, they're paid actors and they're deployed covertly by media, government, corporations, financial institutions, and they're there to influence the operations of something that's happening, and they are there to influence it to a desired outcome to their financial gain, typically. So really fast, this is also all out. Well, the dark side of social media is not on my profile currently. It will be coming in the future. But at this time, this information is not on there. So we will talk a little bit more about get into this part. Let's go back. So information operatives are most commonly known. I mean, we've seen the news. We've heard about it with Russia and the elections. That's a prime example. When it comes to the groups that operate in together, they do it in ways, they'll utilize bots and sock puppets so that they are amplifying their message. That's where, operating 10 sock puppet accounts, they're retweeting themselves 10 different ways. And it becomes exponential. Because of retweet and resend, one comment can resonate within a certain group by tens and thousands, even millions of readers within seconds, depending on the size of the accounts. When it comes to how do they gain the traction, again, that's where buying those accounts, buying the likes, buying the retweets, buying the followers. comes into play. When it comes to techniques and tactics, this is where it gets very specific. And I would encourage people to pay close attention because you will see this daily across multiple social platforms, not just Twitter. So the more specific steps taken to implement information operations is more central to what's called a digital disinformation playbook. Step one would be targeting, and that's where propagators of disinformation and operations carry out intelligence collection on their target audiences via open source channels on the web and analysis gathered by digital advertising agencies. Second step would be content creation. This is kind of going back to talking about even like creating memes. That would fall into that category as well. The operatives create and curate emotionally resonant or otherwise insightful content, both audio and visual, text-based information for weaponization, including propaganda, misinformation, and disinformation. So the third step would be dissemination. Narratives are systemically disseminated through multiple means, fusing together both social and news media. Amplification is the fourth step. Propagated narratives are then amplified via botnets, inauthentic accounts, influencers, and micro-influencers. Hashtag hijacking, astroturfing, which if you don't know what astroturfing is imitating a grassroots actions using coordinated and authentic accounts, aka sock puppet accounts, and trading up the chain, which means planting stories in small outlets where they can then be picked up by larger ones. I did a DD piece, actually it'll be almost a year ago. It was, I remember the day I released it, I went to go see Spider-Man, No Way Home. That uncovered quite a bit of mainstream media manipulation, and they oftentimes use those the tactics of trading up the chain using smaller websites. When it comes to the fifth step, that's the distraction. All actors within the system work together to prevent objective sense making within the target zone of operations by creating distractions, disrupting positive communications, creating chaos, attacking individual users with disinformation to cause focus to be shifted elsewhere, triangulating individuals with multiple attacks and topics to confuse and wear down the group. That's done both in tweets and I've seen it done in space calls. And the sixth part, infiltration. It's a new age but tactically old battle plan. One of the goals is to sow division from within. Most people have probably heard of Sun Tzu's The Art of War, and that's basically what it derives from. A divided society that turns against itself, that cannot come together and find common ground, is one that is easily manipulated. It's one too often seen within community groups, and that's why they're specifically targeted. Framing. Framing is a way of seeing and understanding the world that helps us interpret new information. Framing is the process of shaping other people's frames, guiding how others interpret and react to new information. Each information operative group will frame information and disinformation and attacks in ways that manipulate the targeted users into thinking or seeing what they want in a carefully organized, well-scripted manner. When two or more groups attempt to promote different frames, this is also known as a framing contest. Framing contests occur daily as opposing IO groups battle to maintain control over the narratives that they have each deployed. Now, does anybody have any questions about that? We're going to keep it simple. I'm not going into examples too much. Nope. All right. Disinformation campaigns. We see this a lot. Disinformation campaigns can also be used to systematically manipulate financial discourse within the stock market, influencing news reporting, silencing dissent, undermining the integrity of the financial market, and strengthening the hand of hedge funds, short sellers, and financiers behind the tactics. These campaigns play out in 3 phases. The development of their core narratives, onboarding of influencers and fake account operators or sock puppet operators, dissemination and amplification on social media. Now, the market sentiment manipulation campaigns, this applies to whether it's stock market related or not. Sentiment manipulation, period, within the context of a single stock or a security or a sector, it happens in many, many ways. Financial market discourse is systematically manipulated by a networked disinformation campaign modeled more after a digital advertising approach and operationalized through exploitive strategies and incentive structures. Some of you may have seen the what do you want to call these? Associate marketing campaign executive associate job title or job position postings that are out there. I've seen them for Reddit. I've seen them from Upwork. I've seen them from, I can't read the fine print on this one, and I'm not pulling it up from the archives. But I have found several job postings that are less than questionable, or more than questionable. The disinformation campaigns that are used through the market sentiment manipulation also plays out in 3 campaigns, or 3 ways. The design is establishing the objectives and branding in the core narrative. Again, mobilization, that's onboarding influencers, fake account operators, and grassroots intermediaries, and preparing media channels. I think the majority of us in here have seen that play out with YouTubers or influencers on Twitter or Facebook or TikTok. And the implementation and disseminating and amplifying the messages. Market sentiment manipulation, misinformation, and coordinated disinformation campaigns, they feature a range of operatives who design strategies and implement tactics. And they're based on an architecture involving employing PR strategists and creatives, leveraging digital influencers, amplifying through community-level fake operators, and engaging grassroots intermediaries. Some of the more I'm trying to think of a nice way to say this. There is not a nice way to say this. Basically, digital hate speech. There's no way to make that a politically correct statement. Social media platforms amplify and disseminate hate speech in fragile context, creating opportunities for individuals and organized groups to prey on existing fears and grievances. They can embolden violent actors and spark violence, intentionally or sometimes unwittingly. The rapid proliferation of mobile phones and internet connectivity magnifies the risk of hate speech and accelerates its impact. While hate or dangerous speech has traditionally been propagated by traditional media such as radio and TV or through in-person gatherings, the rapid proliferation of mobile phones and internet connectivity and the inherent technological and psychological features of social media platforms magnify the risks 100-fold. In today's digital environment, every individual has the capacity and agency to develop, disseminate, and consume potentially fabricated or misleading information on digital platforms with the power to increase communication speed, volume, variety, reach, and coverage. We all know what digital hate speech is. We all know what cyberbullies and cyber predators are. Techniques and tactics that are digitally transmitted communications amplify conflict dynamics through the following extra factual sources of information, aka rumors. Unverified information that is transmitted from one person to another. Rumors can be true, false, a mixture of both. At their core, mis and disinformation are rumors. Hate speech, any form or expression that demeans or attacks a person or people as members of a group with shared characteristics such as race, gender, religion, sexual orientation, and disability. Dangerous speech is speech that has special capacity to catalyze or amplify violence by one group or another. So that gives you a little bit more insight into the operatives, information operatives. The 4 key ways that disinformation is spread online. Social media, there's more than 4, but social engineering is again providing that framework to mischaracterize and manipulate events, incidents, issues, public discourse. It's often aimed at swaying public opinion in favor of a certain agenda. Inauthentic amplifications using sock puppets, bots, false identity accounts, again, sock puppets, paid accounts, and sensational influencers, which is now more known as micro-influencers. Those are accounts under 10,000 followers. They've become far more. It doesn't mean because they're under 10,000 followers that they're a micro-influencer. It's just those are what these types of groups typically will go for in looking. Micro-targeting is another example. Exploiting target tools designed for ad placement and user engagement. Harassment and abuse using mobilized audience, fake accounts, trolls to create narratives and obscure, marginalize, and drone out. Opposing views and transparent content. We saw, again, that happened during the U.S. election in 2016. See if I have any requests. Sorry, I'm not paying any attention to my phone. I'm going to keep it simple on this one because I don't want to sit up here and talk people's ears off for nothing. Questions? Comments? No? Anybody have any questions or comments? Unrelated to what I was talking about. Everybody quiet? Did you fall asleep on me?
Still here.
A couple things that I did want to point out. Hang on, I gotta find it again. Is more on the concept of cyborg accounts, the hybrids between bots and sock puppets. They are getting really, really difficult. You know, back when I first started teaching about how to identify bots, sock puppets have always been harder. You have to look at their following. You got to look at their tweets, their retweets. You know, does somebody who just opened an account 2 months ago have 70,000 tweets? Well, I can tell you that's not a real person. There's no way in hell 70,000 tweets go out in 2 months on a brand new account. And that's where the advertising labels at the bottom of Twitter or at the bottom of tweets were quite helpful. With the cyborg accounts, they are far more difficult because how many times have you looked at something and thought it was a bot and then you're like, oh, no, wait, I see. That's more of a personalized interaction on a reply to a tweet. But then some of the tweets look very, very bot-esque. I'm not saying that account specifically that you looked at is a cyborg, but that is more of what is being reported out there. And you can simply go to Google, type in cyborg bot, and you'll see a ton a ton of information on it. Norton, and there's a number of other companies out there that attempt to create apps and plugins for browsers to detect bots. And I've seen and tried them, probably not all of them, but probably 90% of them. They maybe are about 60% accurate. That's about it. Staying safe from them. I mean, I think we all know, don't click links you don't know. Don't open messages you don't know from people. When it comes to getting attacked by cyberbullies or cyber predators, document everything. Document everything. And I will hands down tell you, they live off of the engagement, and they will go to great extent to elicit an emotion from you. I have said for a long time, and even for me, it was difficult sometimes not to respond. But block. For your own safety and security, block them and do not engage them and do not give them the time of day, period, at all, ever. And again, they will use everything. They have no boundaries. So they will attack, and they will try to assassinate your character, defame you, and again, trying to elicit any kind of emotion they can from you. And it can be difficult to not want to respond and give your side of the story. And here's the simple truth. Fuck them. You know the truth. If you're in the right, you have no reason to stand up and shout to the masses. Anybody with half a damn brain can pay attention and see who cries wolf and see who the real victims are. So, to anybody out there that has been a real victim of cyber abuse, I know what it's like. I'm not going to speak on it because that's what they want. Life goes on. I've been asked about the docuseries that I'm doing, and I've repeatedly stated this is a way bigger than what people think, and they can laugh and poke fun at it all they want, and I will quite enjoy when it's streaming in your living rooms in fall of 2023, how much they laugh at it then. But this does not involve individuals. This is about the victims of cyberbullying, cyber predators, and more focusing on the larger aspect of online safety. I have never believed in doxing, ever, and I never will. And I will never believe in bullying someone, ever. I've had enough of that in my own lifetime. And this will feature victims of cyber predators, victims of cyberbullying. The last thing I will ever do is give the actual predators and abusive people any kind of screen time, ever. So to those cyber predators and cyberbullies out there who are screaming and worried about being in a docuseries, you aren't worthy of being on television. The victims are. And that is all I have to say in regards to the docuseries. More information on what streaming platforms it will be available on will come out in the upcoming months, as I am currently working through that also. It is written, it's quite funny. It started out actually as a book. And I have had a passion for documentaries since I was little. And it more started to morph into a documentary, and it started to morph into numerous documentaries. So I shortened it down jokingly with a friend of mine that actually works in the industry. and sent them a rough outline, and that's how this got started. There will be 6 episodes. They're an hour long each. Well, I think it's 48 minutes, 43 minutes, something like that, when you include commercials. It's written to be 12, but 6 is what we're starting with. I've released ideas of titles. The episodes are known. The order in which the episodes happen are known. The exact titles are still being played around with. My hope is that it goes well, and that the final 6 see the light of day. Never in a million years did I think that this would be the direction that I'm going, or that I'd be writing a docuseries. It will be based on facts, not based on, it is facts. This is not a based on a true story type situation. This is straight a factual, educational docuseries. It will not support whatsoever, again, the doxing of anybody or the harassment of anybody, period. So hopefully that will shed a little bit of light on some of the questions that I have gotten about what the docuseries will be. Any questions? I see some familiar faces. Thank you all for being in here. I missed most of you. Some of you that I don't know, maybe you changed your profile. Might have missed you too. Gotta say, I didn't miss this platform, and that's why I said I'll do this one last time. I had 0 plans to actually return to Twitter. For a while, it was a little weird to not be on here, and I oftentimes thought about people, wondered how they were doing. But then it became more peaceful to not be on here. And it kind of gave way to, at the beginning of the docuseries, there is me. It'll be me speaking. I will be on the screen, and there's something that is very heartfelt that I truly do hope. And I know social media was made to connect people, and it was made for good reasons. And unfortunately, there are a lot of bad people out there that use it for the wrong reasons. And I do look forward to the day to where social media can be a safe and fun place and less toxic. Do I think we'll see it? Not in today's current standards, not without government regulation. And it's painful for me to say that, as I am a giant advocate in free speech. I am not an advocate if free speech means predators and bullies get to run around and do what they want. But I'm not going to speak too much more on that, because we'll get into the areas of things that are more political based, and I don't do politics. So no questions, and I'm in the call. I'm gonna go to bed.
Well, thanks.
I'd have been asleep an hour ago.
Thanks, Kory. I'm glad you're back, because you were missing for a while, and I was like wondering where you were at. But people come and go, so for whatever reason,
I was relaxing and enjoying time with my family, and busy working 2 jobs. I picked up a second job. I have a daughter, a car to buy for a daughter.
Yep.
The economy's tanking.
Yep.
Some other bills to pay. So, but it is nice. In many ways, it's nice to be back. Even though it's more of a limited basis. And the days of me doing DD are gone. I don't have time for that anymore. But it's nice to see so many of the same smiling faces that I used to see. And I don't know about you guys, Avatar is coming out soon, right?
Yeah, December 16th.
That's how busy I've been. I have not had I mean, I got to go to the movies. Obviously, I'm a giant movie fan. But I am really looking forward to the Avatar movie, for sure. Well, I hope you guys are doing well. Be kind, be safe, be smart, be humble. And I'll see you guys around. Thanks for coming.
Yep. Thanks, Kory.
Bye.